Do you have a question you want answered? I don't mean any daily questions like, what will you have for lunch tomorrow? Or if you will get sick from the bad burger you had, but a more serious one. Maybe you wish to know the future, who you will end up with, how old you will get, or maybe even how you will die, perhaps what the meaning of life is. You may wish to know if there is a God, or maybe several. If you're thinking yes to any or many of these questions, you'll want to listen on and discover that there is a way to get the answers you seek. But understand that it won't be easy and that there is no guarantee that it will work in the way that you might expect it to. And this is called the Coldwater Realm Ritual, and I will provide you with the information necessary to complete it. For this ritual to work, know that you must be sure of your question and that its answer really is what you seek. The powers you will be messing with while doing this are not to be taken lightly, so if you don't go all in, you will get hurt. You don't have to worry about dying. The beings in the realm that you will be accessing are not interested in your death, just your mind. They might get a few scratches in, though, so please be sure to follow these instructions to the word if you are going to attempt this. For starters, you'll need a room. Most use a bathroom, since the second requirement is that you'll need a bathtub. Prepare by covering all the windows in the chosen room thoroughly. No light should be able to seep in. Be sure to unplug all chargers and such. Everything that has a little lamp or light emitting from it should be turned off. You should cover the slits around the door as well, as a sort of safety measure. This is not actually to avoid light getting in, but to keep the other realm strictly in that room, and that room only. It is a common mistake to be sloppy around this, and the effect that follows is that your house will become haunted. If the room has any mirrors or reflective surfaces, you must remove or cover them too. Your place for the ritual is now ready. Whilst you perform the ritual, you must be alone, not just in the room itself, but in the entire house. When the clock chimes 12 p.m., you should start filling the bathtub with hot water. And when I say hot, I mean the hottest possible. It should be so hot that it hurts. Do not fill it too much, though. You do not want the water to flow over when you step into it later. While the tub is being filled, you are to place candles around the tub, on the floor or counters. Be creative. You can use standard tea light candles, but be wary that they may need to be lit a long time, and you do not want them to go out. Now, notice that I said place them and not light them, so leave them unlit. When you are finished, leave the room and be sure to close the door behind you. You may now live life as you please for the rest of the day. Just be sure not to leave the house or have any guests over. If you do, the ritual will not work properly, and you should end it immediately. By this, I mean go into the room, empty the tub, and remove all the unlit candles. Before you go to sleep, though, be certain that you put on an alarm that will wake you up at 12 a.m., not before, not after, 12 a.m. sharp. If you for some reason wake up at another time other than midnight, the ritual will not work the way you want it to. The room is not ready, and if you were to enter the room, nothing would happen. At least, not at that very moment. What you should do is go to the door of the room and lock it from the outside. This must be done before 12 a.m. If you for some reason can't do this, you must leave the house And don't even try waiting for the clock to chime 12 a.m. You will regret it. If you oversleep, you're kind of screwed at this point. You do not have time to go and lock the door, so just run out of the house. If you are unlucky, the realm may have leaked out from the room and into your house. That's why you shouldn't be sloppy with the door covering. In this case, you may as well just move. Trust me when I say you do not wish to oversleep. In both of these cases, the ritual should not be ever attempted again. You'll just make them stronger and even more pissed off. If everything goes according to plan, you'll wake up at midnight. Now, do exactly as I say. Turn off the alarm and exit the room. Do not turn on any lamps or lights as you go to the chosen room. Open the door slowly. If you feel a force pulling back on the door, the ritual is working a little too well, and you might have some trouble, but know that you can't stop now. When you enter the room, you will see that the candles you left there are now lit. The air inside the room will be ice cold, and the candles will do nothing as to warm it. Oh yes, a little side note. If the candles aren't lit, the ritual isn't going to work, and there's no harm in going back to sleep. Most probably you left some lights on inside the room. You may try the ritual again if this happens. Now, do not be frightened if you see shadows, figures inside the room. They will not touch you unless you upset them. You should now enter the tub. The water will be freezing, but you must try to make as few sounds as possible as you step into it. If you annoy any of the beings from this realm, you may not come out of this as sane as you might like, or as whole as you previously were. You have now reached the part in which you are most likely to fail. You might remember when I told you that you don't need to fear dying while doing this. This is almost true. But who said death is always the worst outcome? If what you do next doesn't satisfy the summoned beings, something much worse will happen. But I'll come back to that later. Close your eyes. Despite what might happen, you must keep them closed. Take a deep breath and ask your question out loud, as clearly as you can. Then stay quiet. Nothing will happen this very instant, but be patient. Whatever you do, do not ask the being anything else or repeat yourself. This is the point where you really don't want the candles to go out. Trust me. Suddenly, you will feel a drag of wind across the room. If you were to open your eyes, do not actually do this, by the way, you would find the room in complete darkness. One of the beings will have moved across the room to stare into your eyes, and if you meet its gaze through the darkness, it will tear you completely apart. You will feel its cold breath against your face and hear its raspy breathing clearly. If you previously felt a pull on the door, the being might even sit upon your legs. It will be hard to resist moving, but it must be done. What the creature will do now depends on what you have asked it for, and I can't prepare you for this part. It might ask a question back. Perhaps it will grab you with its reptile-like claws and search your mind, and in the worst case, hurt you, both physically and mentally. Just know that when the being is satisfied by your lack of response, it will back away from you. Keep your eyes closed, though. The ritual is not finished. Although the creature has moved away again, you will still feel a clear presence around you. As you lay in the water, a low whisper will begin talking to you. Inside your mind, it will sound comforting and safe. It will answer your question in a way you want it to, giving you all the information you have ever sought. But suddenly, a darker, more menacing voice will rampage in your head, making the first voice unable to be heard. This voice will tell you the things that you do not want to hear as an answer. The dark truth of suffering and misery. Despite this, know that both voices will be speaking the truth. Some questions have answers we humans can't comprehend, and you would become overwhelmed of all this new information the being provides you with. At this point, you might wish the ritual to stop, to open your eyes and leave. Do not do this. The creature will leap forward from the shadows, showing its hideous face for a brief second before it collides with you. It'll push you under the water before you can take a gasp of air and trap you there. It will scream inside your ears with a scream so terrifying that you will go insane. You will be torn from your soul and be left like a shell, unable to even sense the outside world. The being will then leave you and go back to its own realm. Most people who have been through this part drown, unable to find the strength to get above the water again. Just keep your eyes closed, and the voices will eventually fade out into nothingness. With this, you will also feel the presence of the beings around you go away. It is now safe for you to open your eyes, to see that the candles around you are now lit once more. Let your heart slow down its beating, and know that you are done. You have completed the ritual. You have received the knowledge you so desperately searched for. You might not have gotten the answer you were hoping for, but do not be disappointed. Empty the tub and blow out the candles. Open a window, if the room has one, and you will see that it is now day. The rays from the sun will hopefully feel a little warmer, and the light a little brighter, as your mind is filled with this new knowledge. Before I leave you with these instructions, and to your own devices, I must warn you once again. You might think that this is just another made-up story meant to creep you out like so many others. I can't take that opinion away from you, but please, please do not try this if that is how you really feel. You will surely fail, and I do not wish that upon you. And if you will attempt this yourself, I will just tell you one more thing. Be careful of the questions you ask, and of the answers you seek.